Right.
Here we go.
Half sour, genius sour.
Hey, shout out to Jenny Fritz for thank you so much, Jenny. And today, if you guys know me personally, you know that I am beyond excited about today's episode because I love math. Whatever reason, I love math. And so I'm so excited today to have these three guests on our wonderful IUSD half-hour Genius Hour. That is our new name, by the way, the half-hour Genius Hour. Thank you, Chris Linville, for the great idea. Half-hour Genius Hour. So today I'd like to introduce our guests. From my left to right, we have Mrs. Christina Giguiere. Yay!
Hello.
Oh, wait, I have applause. I have applause. Hold on a second. Hold on one second. There it is. Yes. And right in the middle we have Ruthy Fong. Wait.
Hey.
Wait. I have. Yes. And finally, last but not least, we have Tracy. Used to be Cortell, now Sinclair. Ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Boy, this show is getting fancy, I tell you. Today, the title of our show is Making Math Learning Visible. And we would be remiss if we did not mention the all of the people that helped us come together really on this show. And hold on, where is that? I had a list, but I can't find it. But we know off the top of our head, we have a Chaparral connection, which is not an IUSD, I apologize, but the wonderful Chaparral Elementary in Ladera Ranch. Dr. Jody Garino, thank you very much, Jody Garino, and Karen Gauthier, and Marie Sykes, and Jen Austin, and Leslie Whitaker, and Amy Adams, and Dina Stetter, all my people over at Chaparral. We love you, and we thank you for kind of being our connection here today. Christina, can you start by introducing yourself and just telling us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. This is my first time being a part of this Genius Hour, and it's really exciting. And I want to thank Darren for inviting me, and also Tracy and Ruthy. We are connected by those people that Darren mentioned, but also by UCI. And I'm just so proud of them and to see the work they're doing in IUSD. But I'm the principal at Canyon View Elementary, the proud principal of the Shooting Stars. And this is my second year here at Canyon View. We're a K-6 elementary school. And I really wanted to be a part of today specifically because a lot of my teachers here at Canyon View are taking on CGI and really looking at making math thinking visible in their classrooms, and we've been talking about that here as a part of our staff development. And I would like to share with the IUSD community some of the work we're doing and how we think it's impacting kids. So thanks for joining us today.
All right. Ruthy.
Hi, I'm Ruthy Fong. I'm teaching first grade over here at Springbrook Elementary School. I'm also a math mentor this year for the district for kindergarten and first grade. So if there are any kindergarten or first grade teachers out there that want to talk about math, send me an email. Let's get together. I also have co-founded the Irvine Elementary Math Network. We meet once a month over here at Springbrook, and we just talk about math together. So as you can see, just like Darren, I love talking about math. And I'm excited about being on today.
Awesome. And Tracy.
I'm a second grade teacher at Alderwood Elementary. It's my third year in second grade.
And just like everybody else, I love math, and I think it's so fun to learn from my kiddos every day and see what they come into the classroom knowing, and I learn with them, and it's just the best part of the day.
Awesome. Christina mentioned CGI, and for those of you that don't know, that is an acronym for Cognitively Guided Instruction, and it's something that we have all got to experience through our Chaparral Connection, and we got to see the masterful teachers in Marie Sykes and Jen Austen and Leslie Whitaker and just Karen Gauthier, to see them just in action and the impact that it has on their kids. So I think that's like where my love of math instruction began, definitely there. And I think that we should talk a little bit about what CGI is first before we go into our topic today. So who would like to start with that? Any of you? Okay, Christina,
No.
go ahead.
No, I'll start just kind of with, CGI, as Darren mentioned, cognitively guided instruction. One of the reasons, we talk about it here and I want my teachers to go through the training is just because I think at its core it helps teachers learn how to build on what their students already bring to the classroom in terms of their math knowledge and all of the strategies that they informally have. The training and the idea of CGI really gets teachers to learn how to build on that thinking and how to ask questions and how to make sure we're teaching for understanding. So, and I think it can even be applied beyond math. And the training's really intense, but I think that professional learning does provide teachers with the foundation and the support they need to take those risks in the classroom and get students talking about math, and to really recognize that students come to us with all this schema and all this knowledge, and we need to bring that out in them in order to help us teach the concepts.
Absolutely. So one thing that really sticks out to me in my mind was the shift from just teaching an algorithmic type of instruction where you're teaching them basically just a trick, right, on how to get a right answer. But a true CGI teacher is tapping into the steps that a child is taking and the sophistication of their thinking, and that is so exciting. I don't know how you cannot get excited about that when you're sitting there watching a child and you're seeing the steps that they're taking and the reasoning that they're struggling with in their mind is that's so exciting. I don't know, right? Am I just weird? I could just be weird, I think. Okay. So Ruthy, can you tell us a little bit about how you make math learn? Let's actually back up. Why is it important for you to show math learning? Why is that an important step in this?
Well, I think it's important just to see how the students are learning. They get to share with each other. They get to share their strategies. And going off kind of what Christina was saying about, there are so many different strategies in solving one problem. I think one of the cool things about CGI is knowing the different steps and the sophistication of those strategies. And when you can find, when you see, okay, this kid is doing this, maybe this kid is counting all, and then this kid is counting on, you can see what they're doing, and then you can build on that. And so when the kids are sharing those things, you really get to just keep building and helping them to be more sophisticated and more efficient in their sharing and their thinking.
Yeah. Tracy, is it important, why is it important for other students to see their classmates thinking, making it visible for other kids to see?
Well, I mean, that collaboration process is important in all aspects of our learning. So just being able to see how somebody else is thinking is going to help them in their thinking expand their horizons and see things in a different lens, in a different perspective. But also, if they're right there and their peers giving them language that maybe they'll understand better from their peer than from me, and their peer can help them move forward in a concept, the looks on their faces when that clicks and they learn from their friends is so exciting. And sometimes, you know, they're better able to help each other. They have a more mutual language, and so it's extremely important for them to be able to talk to each other and share out and learn from each other.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so this is kind of, I'm kind of expanding on what your experience, but what was it for you? What was the biggest difference having like student taught in, were you guys, Ruthy, were you at Chaparral?
I was at Chaparral. I had Leslie Whitaker and Lori Simpson as my mentor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Lori Simpson, we forgot
Yeah.
to mention Lori. My goodness. Lori is working for the county now, I believe. And like, if you walk into Lori's room and you see what her second grade, exactly, we see Tracy like just shaking her head. It's
amazing.
mind-blowing when you see what her kids are doing. Like, mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that Christina is going to take her teachers over to Chaparral to witness some of the magic in Marie's class and Jen Austin's class, right? Can you tell us why you decided to put your staff through CGI training?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked that question in case there are other teachers or principals out there listening today. Well, for me, I'm very fortunate here at Canyon View. My teachers were asking for CGI. They had heard about it, and they heard me kind of talking about it informally, and we happened to have the resources to be able to send teachers to training. So it was great that kind of organically they had this enthusiasm around math and wanting to start to explore it. But at the heart of why I wanted them to get trained is because I know how aligned that philosophy is with the Common Core, how it helps teachers really address those mathematical practices that we talk about, but they really don't exist in our, curriculums that we just get. So we have to find other ways to make sure we're addressing it in the classroom. And I knew that in addition to just getting them trained, that they really want to be able to see it in action. And the more they see it, the more the confidence they build in trying to apply it into the classroom. So that's why we're going to go down in January and see Marie and Jennifer do it in action in their primary classrooms. And I also wanted to send a core group to CGI because once they learn and start to try it in their classrooms and then they share and talk about it with their colleagues in their PLCs, then it generates a lot of that enthusiasm across the whole staff, and we're able to take little, chunks of what they're learning in their CGI training and apply it in a math lesson or a lesson, with the staff. So then everyone can go and try something.
Mm-hmm. And have you seen a difference?
It's changed everything. It's changed the way that they think about math, the way they plan for math. You physically see a change in the room with all the charting of the student thinking, and they come back from training just on cloud nine and can't wait to start the next day.
Yes. If there's one thing that you can notice when you walk into an instructor that is using CGI strategies, it's the charting on the wall. Like, that's the dead giveaway when you walk through and you can see student learning on the wall, and that's for me, like, I walk in 5 seconds, it's like I know what kind of teacher this is. So Ruthy, can you tell us some strategies that you're using to make math learning visible in your classroom? And again, what grade are you teaching?
I'm teaching first grade now.
First grade.
First grade, and definitely the charting is something that I use a lot of share outs. The students will do word problems, and then they'll come up and share their ideas, and we'll chart them out and come up with just big ideas from those. So I actually have a chart up. Would you like to see it?
Yeah, we would love to see it. I would like to add that we are all working towards mastery in charting. We will never, ever reach the Marie Sykes level of charting or the Lori Simpson. Like, their chart, Jen Austin, I have pictures of these things on my Instagram if you want to see them. They're ridiculous. Like, some master painter came and made these charts. They're incredible. Oh my gosh, look at Ruthy. She's almost there. Okay, talk to us. Talk to us about this chart that you have on the wall.
Okay. So this is a problem that we did. We were reading stories about Cinderella. So it's about Cinderella. She has 10 mice friends, and they go up and down the stairs in her cottage. What are all the ways the 10 mice can be in the cottage? And so in the beginning, all the students, they would get the manipulatives, and they would just randomly find different ways to make 10. But as I was charting this, I tried to chart it so that they could kind of see the pattern that was coming out when they were doing the share out. And you can see, like Elliot, he said he saw the pattern. It says it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the top, and then it goes backwards on the bottom where it decreases. Somebody else said it decreases. So they could see the pattern there. Drew said, oh, you can use the opposites to figure out what's missing. And so there he was starting to see the commutative property that I don't need to, if I know 3 plus 7 is 10, then I already know that 7 plus 3 is 10 because it's just the opposite. And then someone said you'll still have the same number of mice, so they know that everything is always going to equal 10. And then Salmi said the same thing, it equals 10, and they're all opposites, is what Daniela said. And then we went through and we wrote down the number sentences to match it. And then we talked about, okay, so mathematicians have a name for this, and it's called the commutative property. So all of that is just the students coming up with the ideas and getting that, oh, it is a pattern, and I can see how to make the ways to make 10, and there's that property. They figured all that out just from the charting.
Oh.
So.
That is phenomenal. That is a great job. Where's my little hand clapper? I gotta find it. Tracy,
Yeah.
share with us, please. Tell us some of the ways that you are making math learning visible for your kids.
Well, similarly to Ruthy, I try to chart as much as I can. We do a lot of number talks on the whiteboard right now. So in the beginning of the year, the first trimester, I had a lot of students shouting out, which is great because they were excited about math. But now that we're getting a little more experience doing number talks, we're starting to chart them more to put up to save because we're noticing a lot of really cool patterns as well. We also do a lot of hand things, so like make my 10, and we'll play games with each other. So we do things when I'm leading, I like to do a lot of can you read their mind? So when we're sharing out, I'll start their strategy at the top, and then they have to predict how their peers have solved a problem. So they're really kind of expanding their thinking in that way. And then I try to chart what they're saying, but I am not at the Ruthie or Marie Sykes level. I'll get there, but not quite.
That's right. Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Do you guys know Kristen Gray? Jody introduced me to Kristen. She works, I don't know, some other state, but she is on the teaching channel, and she does this whole thing on number talks, right? And you mentioned that too, Tracy. Can one of you guys talk to us more about what exactly that is, and maybe you can expand on how somebody can utilize that in their classroom?
So number talks is putting up a number sentence or an equation, and giving students the time to solve it mentally. And you let every student solve it mentally in their in a time period, and so you have to be very patient for that to happen. But as students become more efficient at solving problems, this happens very quickly, and you immediately go into strategies and how you solve problems. So the students are talking through how they're solving this number sentence, and they all solve it in different ways, which is one of the things I think we all love about math, is that there's not one way to solve a problem. And it's so exciting to see another student make a connection and say, that's how I solved it, or I've never done it that way. And so then after you talked about how they solved the problem on your board, you just have this list of different ways of solving a problem, and they're communicating and using academic language, and it's a really fun way to start off a lesson.
I love it. And for those of you that don't know Tracy personally, that is not her regular voice. A very sexy voice, but that is not her regular voice, by the way. Okay. Christina, what have you noticed, like walking around to the okay, also let me rewind a little bit. What's really exciting about Canyon View is that she offered this to her whole staff, I believe, and it's like vertically integrated. So if you go to different grades, and as these kids are moving up, they're getting experience through these CGI strategies going all the way up through her school. So I don't know, can you talk to us a little bit about what you've seen in out there in your
Definitely.
school?
So this year is our first year of anyone going through the formal training. So my first grade team, one second grade teacher, two third grade teachers, and two fifth grade teachers. So the idea is, right, that across the school we'll have this, happening. And what I've definitely noticed, in addition to the charts, which you've all said, when you walk in, you kind of know someone's doing CGI by all the charting that they have up in the room, is really just teachers, and this is a risk. It's such a risk to just start asking questions and start having kids talk. I mean, at the most basic level, what we're seeing now that maybe we didn't see before is students are talking. They are verbalizing their strategies, and teachers are, instead of confirming or validating an answer as right or wrong, they're starting to think of follow-up questions. And that's scary. I think a lot of teachers are like, I don't know what to ask, and I don't know how to respond, and I'm not sure how to address that misconception. And now they're starting to think about ways they can do that, which we see then kids really have those light bulb moments, or you're able to unpack their thinking. So I've noticed that in the classroom. The warm-ups, kind of the number talks that Tracy and Ruthy mentioned, we're seeing that every day. And the students are becoming more efficient and proficient with their strategies. And the teachers are able to get a glimpse really quickly in like a 5-minute period of where their kids are at with their strategies, and then plan, for follow-up lessons that are really aligned with their strategies. So those are some of the things I've noticed in the classrooms here.
Awesome. Okay, so Tracy and Ruthy, if there was a teacher that came to you, not even just a new teacher, but just some teacher that wanted to, like they were interested in what you're doing in your classroom, what could they do to get started?
They could sit down and plan a word problem with me, and we could do it together. So something that I really like about CGI is working with a colleague and really unpacking together. So if somebody came up to me and asked me that, I would say, well, let's sit down, let's get to work, see how we can do this.
Yeah.
Let's look at these strategies. Let's see where your kids are at. Let's start off with a problem and see what works and what didn't, and then let's plan from there.
What about you, Ruthy? What do you think?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. We would sit down together and think of a rich task that we could give to our students, and just pose it and then see what happens. And that's the cool thing, is you actually never know what will happen in the lesson. What are the students going to say? And yeah, the lesson just happens. Things come out, misconceptions come out, but great strategies come out, and then you just look at it at the end of the lesson, reflect, and then move on for the next day. Start planning for the next day. Yeah.
Right. So teachers, I don't want to make this sound like it's some easy thing, because it's not. Like it's a lot of work to sit there and think about each one of your kids and how each one of them is thinking, and then try to think of a way to take them to the next level and sophistication of their thinking. It's a lot more effort, I have to tell you, than just getting a worksheet and marking right or wrong, right? But you're getting so much information, because what if somebody is getting the right answer, but like they have no mathematical foundation for their thinking? You would never know that if you were just asking for the answer every single time, right? It's a lot more work. So why do you guys choose to do all this extra work? Ruthy? I mean, that's your decision. Like, you're like, I love this, but it's a lot more work on me. But why are you choosing to do that?
Well, because I think that conceptual understanding is so important. I mean, for me growing up, I loved math because I actually did just love the procedures and I loved getting the answer. But it wasn't until I got to UCI, I had Val, I had Jody, and I
We
started,
didn't mention
you
Val
know,
Henry.
Yeah.
Val Henry,
that I
come
started,
on.
yeah, I started seeing like, oh, why do we invert and multiply when we're doing fractions? And when you really understand, have that conceptual understanding, it's so much more interesting and it's so much more fun. And I want the kids to have that and not just have to sit there and memorize things and not know why. So I think it's worth it.
How about you, Tracy?
Well, I'm the opposite of Ruthy, so math was not my favorite growing up. And I think that's why, because I was told I had to do it one way, and I didn't understand that way. So I really had a lot of holes. And then when I went to UCI and I saw these, connections being made and how fun math could be, I just fell in love. And like if I could re-fall in love with math as an adult, if I could instill that in a child, I think that is just like the best gift.
And then Christina, why are you being the mean principal and making your teachers do all this extra work?
Well, that is a good point, though, because one of the things we know as principals that if we do want our teachers to embrace this work, we have to give them time. And that's always a challenge, is because you're not picking up, the Go Math and the My Math and kind of plugging away day one, day two. You are inventing these rich tasks. You are planning for these problems. You're looking at the student work. That does take a lot of time, and we know that's one thing teachers tend not to have a lot of. But I think when they start to do it, even if it's not every single day, they see the value, and then they want to do it more. And that collaboration piece that Tracy mentioned, just come sit down, let's do it together, I think makes a big difference. I know when my teachers have found connections, like my fifth grade teachers, when they have been to training and they've met now other fifth grade teachers from Irvine,
Right.
and starting to talk about their plans and collaborate and brainstorm, that takes some of the pressure and workload off, and they're, I think, working smarter, not harder. And if we want kids to persevere and really know how to justify and construct arguments beyond math and beyond school, this is one way we know that we're getting that work done.
Yes. Okay, we have a couple of questions here. First one is from Miss Jenny Fritz. She asks, how can I connect math to other subjects in an interdisciplinary way? For example, math and social studies, how can they connect them through this? Have you thought about that at all? You guys are first and second, so I don't know, like, do you, yeah, I guess so. Like, if you even think about the question that you had on the wall, right?
Yeah, that question I used with my literature theme, but I was thinking in fall we were looking at pumpkins, and that's kind of part of botany, part of science, and learning about pumpkins, the parts of pumpkins, life cycle. But we also used it in math by kind of doing estimating the circumference of the pumpkin, getting a piece of string, trying to guess how long it is, using blocks, trying to estimate how tall it is. So that's one way you could put a little bit of math in there. So with measurement, geometry.
Yeah, yeah. How about you, Tracy? Any ideas on that?
Well, we recently started doing some subitizing lessons, and the
Can you
number.
explain?
Yes. So I'm flashing an image on our screen for 3 seconds, and I'm just talking about what they see. And we started off really, really easily at first, but the students are noticing shapes as a way to count. And so we talked about how the shapes that they're noticing are related to vertices. So like when they see a triangle, it's usually 3. So it was like 1 at the top and then 2 on the sides, and they're like, oh, I see where the triangle is. And then somebody else said, oh, that's all the points. And then somebody else said, well, those are the vertices. So they're starting to see geometry patterns within number sense with subitizing.
Awesome. That's so Lori Simpson of you.
Well,
Okay. I can tell you, like, from my own experience last year, I did this project, and it was based on that game called MASH, where you would live in a mansion or an apartment or we changed S from shack to studio and then or a house. And so they played the game, but they figured out not who their husband was, but what college they'd go to and what job they'd have, what car they would drive, and they had to figure out how much a car payment was, how much their college tuition was going to be for their loans that they had, how much they had to pay, how much their job would be, I mean, how much they would make per month, and they had to do a budget for that. And so that's how I like cross boundaries, you know.
Yeah.
You just incorporate it in everything. We have another question. It's from Jennifer Williams. I love that my TOSA buddies watch the Genius Hour, by the way. Shout out to my TOSAs. Okay. She wants to know, how often do you incorporate CGI lessons into your week?
I would say mine vary. So I think that, I'm sorry, a lot of my lesson starters are usually CGI, so like Make My 10 or a number talk. And sometimes we'll use our Go Math so that we still have that assessment piece that everybody else in the school has. So I try to do it at least 3 times a week, a CGI lesson, but I would say that my opening 99% of the time is CGI-esque.
Yes. How about you, Ruthy?
I'd say I kind of mix it up. Sometimes I'll start off with a number talk. I'll try to do fluency with Val Henry's FactsWise. We try to get that fluency for kindergarten and first every day. Rich tasks, CGI problems we'll have maybe one day, and the next day will be to share out. We'll put some literature in there too with books. So I just kind of mix it up a lot. So it just depends on what happens in the week.
Awesome. Okay, Christina, our time is just about up. Do you have any parting words, any math words? I will definitely do another math segment on the half-hour Genius Hour, by the way, because I love math. So.
My only parting words are just if this is something that interests you and you want to get going on it, talk to your principal, talk to other teachers, come to Canyon View. We love having visitors. We love having people come in and see the kind of work that we're doing, and don't be afraid. It's okay to do one problem and not a whole bunch of problems. I know that's scary, but it's okay to try that and reach out.
Can I, if they're talking to their principal, can they say, hey, can you just call Christina? She'll tell you.
Yeah. So I've already started doing that. I've had principals say, oh, I hear you're getting your teacher CGI trained. Who's the contact at the county? And I say Jody Guarino and Nick Johnson. And then they can start setting up trainings and being creative with how they get that work done in their schools.
Yeah, and if you want Jody's phone number, it's Ruthy, parting words from you.
Yeah, go out and try it. Have fun. Try a problem. It's okay to just try it and see what happens. Ask lots of questions too from your students and just see what they know. Yeah.
Tracy.
That's a hard one. Let the students be the teachers for a little bit and see what happens.
That's great advice. Hey, and by the way, I don't want you to think this is like the UCI show, because I went to Fullerton.
And I went to Fullerton for my master's.
No, we love UCI. And we love CGI, and like somebody asked me, I think it was my wife. She said, if you got the opportunity to teach one thing all day long, what would it be? And I said, math. I would teach it all day long. I don't know about you guys, but my kids will work on a problem like 3/4 of the day, and like my friends are like, "What are you doing in there?" But I love math. Oh, let's see. We have one more question here from Raquel Nedden. How are you? Thank you for tuning into our show. I know that you've watched before. Thank you. Everybody say hello to Raquel.
Hi, Raquel.
I don't know what, Raquel, what is your?
Really have 3 years.
Oh, she says, do you have any web resources or sites to help with lesson planning?
Well, there's Illustria of Mathematics.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah, I have
sure.
some really good rich tasks on there that you could use.
Can you say it one more time?
Illustrative mathematics.
Can we add text on here? No.
Yeah, you can share your screen. Do you have a it's in the top left where it's a green
The
screen with the
chat?
arrow? No, below that.
The screen share?
Yeah,
Sorry, I haven't done this before.
I know. This is good.
I don't see that option.
Oh.
It pops out.
So what do you see?
Well, we don't see anything right there. Oh, yeah, we see us.
Yeah, because, okay, hold on.
I see hot cider party. Slow cooker.
I know. How do I stop it?
You have to go back up there and click on it again.
Okay, now it should be back. Well,
Yeah.
no, but I was going to say we should find a way we could share all these resources, illustrative
Yes.
math and teaching channel and all the CGI stuff.
Right. Well, gosh, I am, the Tectosa, one of them at least, so I can set up a Google folder in a drive and I'll share it with everybody that is interested in being a part of this little network, because there's definitely a network in IUSD that's growing, and around the county, we can get a lot of people involved in this because it's so beneficial. Like, you will see such an amazing difference in the sophistication of the thinking in your kids that you will never teach another way again. Like, you will be sold. I am not kidding. And I made a video of one of Christina's teachers. What was her name again?
Jillian.
Jillian Martinez, right? She was so cute, and she was so nervous, but she did a great job. And she had just gone through training, and she did a counting collections, right? Is that what her lesson was about? I did a whole video on that, and I posted it, and you guys can watch that. We'll put that in the folder as well. We've got to get going. We went overtime already, 3:07. I've got to let you guys go, respect everyone's time, because this is the half hour. So thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Coming up next month, we have Mr. Stan Macheski is going to be on our show, and he's going to talk about what he envisions education will be like in 50 years, 10 years, 100 years. He's going to look into his crystal ball, so I'm excited for that. We have a social studies show coming up, definitely another math show. We have what is Alex Leonard's position? You guys know Alex Leonard?
MTSS, she's an intervention psych.
Yeah, and okay, so we're going to do a show with them, and so many great shows coming up in the new year, you guys. I wish everybody a great holiday, and be safe and have fun with your families, and so long from the Half Hour Genius Hour.